omega fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA, which are two of the omega-3 fatty acids, which are the most protective to our brain and beneficial for brain health, and they reduce the risk of dementia due to several neuroprotective and anti-inflammatory mechanisms. A lot of it goes down to our body having an ideal ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. And if you eat a standard American diet, you're gonna have a lot of omega-6s and really low omega-3s. And maybe you eat like fish, healthy salmon like once a week. I hope it's wild caught, because then you might actually get some omega-3s out of it versus like the farm raised. But having that like once a week, in my opinion, is not gonna get you adequate levels of omega-3s. So supplementing with it is really helpful, particularly a high quality one. When you're having fish oil, do you guys know some of the concerns with fish that we should always look out for? Mercury, yeah, mercury's one big one, and toxins and plastics that we're finding in fish, all these things.
Farm fed.
Yes, and the fact that a lot of them are farm fed. So when you're choosing an omega-3 fatty acid supplement, just quality, I would absolutely avoid the cheapest option. Because they're not testing for mercury, they're not looking at quality, they may not be batch testing to make sure that those omega-3s are not rancid already before you consume them. So quality is very key when it comes to omega-3s.
Kelsey, what was you said DHA and what was the other one?
EPA. Those are the main ones you always hear all the benefits from. Avocados are another food, so if you like guacamole, eat the guacamole, it's so good for you.
Not the chips.
Carrots and celery. I'm not gonna lie, the chips are tough to turn down on the avocados. So they have found that avocados can potentially reduce dementia risk due to their rich content of healthy fats, antioxidants, and the specific vitamins that are in them. And the nutrients work in concert to improve blood flow to the brain and protect brain cells from damage and maintain healthy brain cell structure and function. So avocados are a great one. And then the third thing is actually an herb, which is rhodiola and ashwagandha. And why this is a helpful thing to consume. Usually you're gonna get that as a supplement. I don't know too many people that cook with those. I have no idea where I would buy them outside of a supplement. But these particular herbs help with protecting our brain because how they help our body with the stress response. Rhodiola and ashwagandha help reduce cortisol, and they help modulate what's called HPA axis, which acts as an adaptogen to balance the body's stress response, reduce fatigue, and improve mental performance, especially in cases of chronic stress or burnout, which I feel like everyone suffers with. So these are really good ones. We'll talk about the specific supplement that has those. Berries are really good and protective for our brain. I could go on and on. They have antioxidant effects, anti-inflammatory properties. Berries are low on the glycemic index, which means they're not going to spike your blood sugar. They have lots of fiber in them. They've been shown to help improve blood flow because the compounds in berries can improve vascular function and then increase blood flow to key areas of the brain that are associated with memory and attention. They enhance neuronal signaling. Berries' bioactive compounds can help improve communication between neurons, the nerve cells, and protect them from damage, which is crucial as neurons generally do not reproduce or replace themselves. There's metabolic benefits, really good. Nuts are another one. They're also packed with antioxidants, bioflavonoids, polyphenols. They help neutralize free radical damage. So free radical damage basically creates oxidative stress in our body. The best definition of oxidative stress would be like rust on something that you leave outside, or the apple you cut and then you come back the next day and it's all brown. That's oxidative damage that's happening there, or free radical damage, and antioxidants are the antidote to that. It's like the lemon that you put in your guacamole that keeps it from going brown is the antioxidants. And nuts also have a lot of those, which are very protective to our nervous system. Walnuts are one of my new favorite nuts to consume, and I think a lot of people don't eat walnuts very regularly, but they're particularly helpful to help protect your vascular system. Walnuts help preserve endothelial function, which is the blood vessel flexibility. And so I can't tell you word for word every detail of this study, but I know the basics of it that stood with me as the reason why I like to have a handful of walnuts every week. They did a study having somebody consume like a really fatty, unhealthy type of lunch, and it was like a greasy pastrami sandwich. And then they look at the blood vessels, and after this really high, unhealthy fat meal, they see the blood vessels constrict, and they can measure it right after someone has a pastrami sandwich, which is interesting. Then they took the test subjects, and half of them, they had just like 3 walnuts before they ate the pastrami sandwich, and they did not see the tension happen in the blood vessels. I was like, I'm gonna have walnuts with every meal. And because we know that our brain health, having good vascular system to the brain is important to maintain our brain health, this is where things like walnuts come into play. And
Does
then,
it have to be before the meal or during the meal?
in the study they did it before, but I imagine you can have it with it. Yeah, instead of the pastrami is good too.
But what about all the other nuts like pecans and stuff?
I only know of the one particular
Walnut.
study.
That's it.
And particularly, they were English walnuts, if you want to know
Oh,
specifics.
they're the
that
catch,
have
right?
effects, not the black walnuts. English
Not
walnuts.
black walnut.
That's what I was gonna ask you, because I've heard that roasted is not good.
Yeah, in
Roasted.
general, all the benefits of nuts kind of get ruined when we roast them. It damages the healthy fats in
Just
them.
like
Do you
soggy
have to
broccoli.
soak them? I've read that you're supposed
Soaking
to
and
soak them.
dehydrated.
Yes, if you will soak your nuts overnight and then dry them out completely afterwards, this helps to release some enzymes in the nuts, which help you be able to get more nutrients out of them and easier in your digestion. It's called sprouting them. So all nuts and seeds have some protective mechanism because they want to become a plant. They don't want to be eaten. And when they are soaked in water, they go, hey, it's time to germinate. And so they lose a lot of their protective coatings and things that are in them. And the enzymes are released that help you digest them better and you get more nutrients out of them.
And if you guys have noticed, we've started carrying a really
good
great
point.
company called Brothers Nuts, and those are all sprouted.
Yeah, so these are sprouted and then dehydrated, so they're still crunchy. Like if you've ever soaked your nuts and then ate them, they lose like that crunchiness that you like to them. If you'll dehydrate them, they don't reach a heat that damages the healthy fats or ruins the nutrition. And Brothers Nuts do that for you. So they're sprouted and dehydrated, and they're delicious.
My little Ninja Toaster oven has a dehydration setting on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I have done them at home myself. It was just, I think I had them at a really low temperature in my oven, and it took like 12 hours. So it is a long process. And then lastly, beets, because beets are in a category of foods that promote nitric acid production in the body. And nitric acid, the discoverer of nitric acid won a Nobel Peace Prize for his discovery because of how impactful it was in understanding heart health and heart disease. Because nitric acid our body naturally makes, and it is a vasodilator. And so when they studied nitric oxide and all this stuff, this was actually what ended up being started as researching for a blood pressure medication, because if our blood vessels dilate, we don't have as much tension on them, and then later turned into erectile dysfunction medications because they saw improvements in those areas also. And so we need a non-strict vasodilation to get good blood flow to everywhere, including our brain, and that's why things like beets are so helpful. So beet powder is a good one. Like a lot of people take super beets. Super beets does come from genetically modified beets, so that one is not my favorite one. We carry NOx Synergy, which is to produce nitric oxide, and the main ingredient for making this is beets powder. So you put a little bit in your water and
So
drink
if
it.
you cook beets, like if you roast them, does it still keep all the benefits, or is it kind of losing some of
I've
it?
never specifically looked into that with beets.
lot of
I would
roasted beets.
assume that it does. I mean, you don't lose all the nutrients when you cook other foods, unless you overcook it. There could be a point. Other things that also improve nitric oxide in the body is cacao, so dark chocolate, and leafy greens like bok choy, chard. Those are good ones. I don't particularly like them, but they are good for increasing nitric oxide.